Welcome back to the Mindful Mic. I'm Colby.
And I'm Grace. And today we're diving into the power of mentorship.
We had the chance to sit down with Angela Sanchez from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Idaho to learn more about how one-to-one mentoring relationships truly change lives.
Angela shares her own journey, the inspiring programs Big Brothers Big Sisters offers, and how mentorship helps build confidence, resilience, and mental well-being, not just for the littles, but for the bigs too.
So whether you're a parent, a community advocate, or a little looking for a big, this episode is for you.
Because sometimes the life you change through mentorship might just be your own.
Okay, let's welcome Angela.
Hello, Angela. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you. I'd love if you could just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your role and what led you here.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I was born and raised in the Treasure Valley. I moved away a few times, but was always just drawn back. It's just such a special place. I just feel like there's
Sucks you in.
Yes,
It sucks you back in.
Yes, it really does. And I feel like being raised here, you don't appreciate it until you leave and you experience different places. And so I was drawn back here to raise my kids. So I have 3 kids, ages 15, 13, and 11.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in it. If you know, you know. But I married my high school sweetheart at 18. We've been married almost 20 years. So do the math. No, you figure out my age. But yeah, so my journey into my role and kind of into nonprofit is a little different. I started out as a young mom, and really just kind of like that's what I always wanted to do. I just saw myself as a stay-at-home mom and raising my kiddos, which I loved the opportunity to do. But as they got older, I really started, thinking, okay, like, what am I going to do? What does my future look like as they go to school and they start gaining independence? And so I really started contemplating those things. And for me, the thing that to get me out of, being home with my kids really had to be important. And something that always touched me and stood out to me was nonprofit work, especially with children. Specifically like in foster care and adoptions. I was really interested in that. And so I went back to school and I actually was majoring in social work. That was my intention, was to be a social worker. I wanted to work in foster care. But then as life does, things change and things happen. My son was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. And ended up needing a little more attention and care, and public school wasn't working out. So we ended up schooling him at home. And so I kind of had to contemplate, is social work something I can do? Because it takes a lot out of you. It's a career that it's like you give. And so I kind of pushed pause on school and just, what am I going to do from here? And so I ended up getting a job. It was a part-time job, working mostly remote with a local nonprofit that was focused on building healthy churches and having a good healthy church culture. And so I worked with them for 3 years as the only paid staff member. So I did a lot of things. I ran the gamut of all the things I did, tax things, donations, the marketing, and putting on events, all sorts of things. And through that, I kind of found my passion for marketing, something I didn't really think I would do before. And as my son grew accustomed to being schooled at home, he moved to a virtual curriculum, was pretty independent. My 2 daughters were in public school, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to go back to school. So I went back to school, and I actually majored in marketing. And since I switched my major, I had 2 years to finish. So I finished and was ready to, tackle the workforce. But I knew I didn't want to just, do marketing to sell products. That didn't really
Marketing with meaning.
Yes, exactly. I wanted something that made a difference. And so I started looking at nonprofit work. And that's when I saw the listing for Big Brothers Big Sisters and just the organization as a whole, and then the specific role and what it did just felt so right. And it just felt like it was meant to be. I left that interview thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't get this, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because it just felt so right to me. And so that's kind of a long story. Sorry, it took so long, but that's kind of my journey to where I'm at now. So
it's perfect. I can really relate to that because I have a marketing, degree, and that's what I did. I think quite a few years before you, and then thinking about, being in the commercial side and the corporate side, and then finding a home in marketing with as a nonprofit is like, I feel like the golden ticket.
Exactly.
I can totally relate. I don't think I could ever leave the nonprofit world again. And it's so, you have to be really think outside the box because you have such little money as compared to like agencies and stuff. So yeah, that's great. Oh my gosh, I love hearing how you got to Big Brothers Big Sisters. What would you say, going there, what was the mission? What is their mission, your mission there, that you would tell the community what you're trying to accomplish in your goals?
Yeah. So if people don't know about Big Brothers Big Sisters, I always just tell them, we're a nonprofit mentoring organization that pairs a child with a volunteer adult mentor. And really, this mentor is there to provide a consistent support for them, kind of different opportunities they can experience in life, a listening ear, someone who really just helps them through the ups and downs of life. It's just having that extra person who cares and who's their cheerleader and in their corner when things get hard or when things go right, someone to celebrate with. And so our vision really is to create bright futures for youth, and we do that through mentoring.
You said adults, but is it also like teenagers that can mentor, or what is?
So currently, it's 18 and up that can mentor.
So it is.
We are, one of our future programs is high school bigs. And so that is in the works for high school students to mentor elementary school students. And so that is in the works as we speak. We've done it in the past, but then COVID
COVID
ruined
Ruined
everything.
everything. Now we're having to reevaluate, refocus.
Exactly. So we're just now kind of getting to that place where we feel like we can do that again. But for those teens who were mentoring, it was such a great experience too.
Oh yeah. Win-win.
Yeah.
So what does that look like from the mentoring side? So if someone wanted to get involved in that, what's the process to become involved? And then from there, I mean, what does it entail?
Yeah, so we have two different programs. We have a community program and then a school site program. And so getting involved looks a little different for each, but our main program that most people know about is the community one. That's kind of our bread and butter, what we've done for ages. And so in this process, if someone is interested, they just go on the website, fill out the application, and then a member of our team will reach out with orientation video. And it kind of just goes over all the commitments, details, what to expect. If they feel like they still want to move forward, we'll schedule an interview. And that interview is really important, one, for safety, obviously, but also just to get to know the volunteer. So we match intentionally. We're not first come, first serve. So we could have a child on the waiting list, like a little boy on the waiting list, and then have a volunteer come in who's, a 25-year-old male. We wouldn't necessarily put them together. There has to be reasons to put them together. So we want it to be a good match. It really is kind of like a matchmaking process. So that interview, we find out, what are your interests, your hobbies, your goals? Why do you want to volunteer? What's, if you're comfortable sharing, kind of what's your history? What have you gone through growing up that maybe you could speak to, a child about? And we find out all these things so that we can make that intentional match. And so after the interview process is done, we do, fingerprints, background check, all the safety factors. There are references that are needed and social media checks, and of course, Google searches and things like that. But once that is done, you are ready to be matched. And if we have a good match, then we set up a match meeting, and at our office, we do an icebreaker. It's facilitated. And they get to spend a little time together, like playing Uno or, what have you, a little game, kind of talk and see how they feel. And then each party gets to talk alone one of our staff and, how do you feel? Like, do you think do you want to move forward? And if anyone is hesitant, if anyone says no, that's totally fine. We'll try again. It's not like you're kicked out. It's like, that's okay. We will try again. We'll try to find a different match. It's not always, fireworks for the first time. And so sometimes we have to make adjustments and try again. But if they say yes, then usually the little comes out and asks the big, will you be my big? And everyone celebrates, and they get t-shirts and get a picture and then plan their first match activity. And so for that program, so that's the enrollment process, what that looks like. But the commitment for it, how it kind of looks, is really just getting together 2 to 3 times a month with your little. The time ranges, it can vary depending on what you're doing. So like 30 minutes to a few hours, depending on if you're going for a walk around the neighborhood, if you're getting ice cream, if you're going on a hike. Maybe you're going to a neighborhood like concert that might take longer. So it just varies, the time commitment, but typically we say about 2 times a month to get together. And it's very flexible. So it's what works for you and the little's family. So you would contact their parent or guardian and say, hey, this Friday I'd like to take my little to, say art in the park, something like that. And if they're like, yeah, that's great, they pick them up, take them, and then bring them back home. And so that's kind of how that looks. It's a flexible schedule. You do have to be in contact with the parent or guardian.
They coordinate with the
that's
parent,
how they coordinate.
Not through you guys.
Mm-hmm. And then we do have match support is what we call it. So they're assigned to each match, and they check in once a month for the first year and then quarterly after that. To make sure things are going well, to kind of check in, like, what do you guys do? And make sure everything's, like, lining up. Also, safety-wise, like, make sure things are sounding good, that everyone's happy with how the match is going. And if there's any bumps along the way or things that need worked through, they're there to coach and guide and, like, facilitate. So they're really involved in kind of making sure the relationship develops and is going smoothly. So I always like to tell people that, because it can be intimidating to be like, I'm just paired with this child and then just thrown out there. But we really try to give that support and guidance along the way. So that's the community program, which is our main one. And then we have school site, which we call Lunch Buddies, which the enrollment process is pretty similar to that. It's a little less, the interview is a little shorter. You need one less reference, just little things like that, because it is all at the school. So there's already those safety factors in place. But the school site program happens during the school year. So usually September to May, and they meet once a week during the little's lunch hour. And so you can eat lunch together. You can play a board game. The school usually gives us like a room where they can go do arts and crafts, play games, whatever, or they can go outside, shoot hoops, play on the playground. A lot of littles like to show off their big to like their friends and stuff. So sometimes bigs get taken out to the playground, like, look at my big, look how special I am, which is really cute. But so this is great for people who maybe want to take that first step, but they're a little intimidated by the community program. All the activities are at the school, so it's a little less,
less pressure to figure out what to do with your...
Yes, and it still makes a difference because it really gives the kids something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. A lot of these kids, since the community program does require parent or guardian involvement, there's some kids that would be a great fit for our program, but their parents aren't. And so the school site kind of is a great way for them to get involved, because the parents or guardians just have to sign a permission slip, and then the school counselor kind of takes that place. And so these kids still get to be served and still have that mentor. It's not in the community, but at school it gives them something to look forward to. It makes them feel special. And we have seen their attendance go up, especially on days where their big comes.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the littles a little bit. What's it? Trying to think if I say this right. So if there's a little that wants to be matched, is it somebody that maybe they don't have a lot of guidance or friends, or they just feel lonely, or is it just all different kinds of, I guess, reasons? Yeah. And what would those age groups and kind of reasons why a child might want to be a little?
Mm-hmm. So we do accept all kids from all walks of life.
Sure.
We do have littles that, I mean, they have a 2-parent household. They have what looks like, you know, a great family. But maybe the parents, they just see the benefit of having a mentor, or they're both working and they're really busy. And they're like, I want my child to have that one-on-one attention from someone. This especially happens with kids who are single children, only children. They don't have siblings. And so we see that a lot. Or the opposite, where there's a lot of siblings at home and the parents are kind of stretched thin and want their kids to have opportunities, want them to feel seen, want them to have that extra person there. And the majority of our parents are single parents. I think it's 69% are single mothers in our program. And so it's just, you know, helpful to have that extra person to provide guidance, to provide support. And so as far as the kids go, a lot of times we do see that there might be a struggle somewhere in their life with whether it's family dynamic, whether it's bullying at school, academic, something usually is going on that kind of triggers the parent to be like, I think they would benefit from this. The thing about our program is obviously the parents or the school counselor are the ones that recommend them and sign them up, but the kids have to be on board. Just as probably you've seen with like counseling or therapy, like you can't do much when the kids are just not having it.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, they have to be open and willing
Sure.
and wanting a mentor, especially because it's a relationship. They're going to be spending one-on-one time together. If they're just bottled up and just not, you know, having it, it's not going to be fun for anyone. And you know, our bigs are volunteers. They're not equipped to try to figure all that out. And so we do in their interview, in the little interview, we separate them from their parent or guardian and have their own interview and make sure, you know, why do you want to do this? What, you know, why would you want a mentor? And hear their answers. And sometimes it's very obvious, like, oh, the parent is like really forcing this. And so we won't accept them just because it's not going to benefit anyone. So a lot of times they're shy and they're reserved. So I'm not saying they're like, woohoo, all the time, but they say like, yeah, I want to do it. Even if they're shy and reserved, they want a mentor. They want to be involved. A lot of them, I think they're excited about having that one-on-one attention and the potential of experiencing new things that they wouldn't otherwise get to experience in their home life. Like we have a lot of kids who they're just, like I said, they have a single mom. She's working 2 jobs. She's busy. They don't have a lot of extra funds. And with this program, they, you know, maybe they get a big brother who takes them skiing for the first time and they learn they love skiing. And now they get experiences to go to Bogus, you know, just things like that they wouldn't be able to experience before and realize new passions and things like that. So I think that's what kind of initially draws the littles to it, and then they realize, oh, this person kind of becomes like a best buddy for them.
Yeah. So what is when you say they get to do all these cool experiences they might not have had access to before, I love that. What does the cost look like for that? Like on the big, but also the little, like, is that something that you guys provide and support, or what does that look like?
Yeah. So our program is no cost for the families. So the littles and families don't pay anything. Bigs, it's not a cost unless you're doing specific activities. So it's kind of up to the big on how much they want to spend. We don't help financially doing like regular activities.
If they want to take them skiing, great.
So we do get those donated. Yeah. So that's part of the benefit is that we have a lot of partners who are so gracious and give us tickets to events and things. So Bogus does give us lift tickets, rental tickets, you know, ski passes. And so our matches look forward to that every season. They're like, where? Yeah.
I love this community. Thank you, Bogus. Another great reason to love you.
They've done it for years, and it's just so awesome. So it's cool for both our bigs and littles, and it doesn't cost anything for the bigs. Same with like Idaho Shakespeare Festival. They give us tickets. Our matches can go every year. And other places, similarly, like Hawks tickets, Morrison Center, we get tickets to Nutcracker every single year.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's things like that that come up that are so cool. We also get kind of one-off things that people in the community, really kind-hearted people are like, I have these tickets, I'm not going to use them, could a match use them? So to concerts and things.
That is so great. That's good to like just kind of repeat to everyone. If there's a concert you can't go to or some tickets or gift certificates or whatever you're not using,
for sure,
call you guys.
Yes, we will gladly take them.
Use. That's really good to know. I didn't, because I had no idea.
Yes, and same with Boise State. They give us tickets to football and basketball every season, so it's just very cool. They get opportunities like that, and then we try to put on quarterly match activities for everyone. So we'll put on like a party. So we're doing a back to school party coming up. It's at Sensi Commons, and we'll have games and treats and activities that's for free, and they can also meet other matches and kind of have that camaraderie. We went to like Treasure Valley Skate for one match activity where we paid for them all to skate. We had like 75 matches come, and it was packed. But so we try to provide opportunities to do like really fun activities. But so on the regular basis though, we do, tell bigs, we encourage low to no cost activities, because it's not about the money, it's about the relationship. And even just going to Costco, we say getting samples and teaching them how to shop, can make a big difference. And so even taking the dog for a walk, just simple things like include your little on it. Like it doesn't have to be this huge grand thing that you plan out, like, oh, we're going to a game, which is really fun, but every single time that's going to get tiring. And so it's really just trying to include them kind of in your everyday. If you're going grocery shopping, have them come along. If you think about going to get ice cream, have them come along. Like it's just trying to include them kind of in your life. And that's really how that natural relationship forms. And so it's not necessarily what you do. It's just that consistency of having that person continually show up voluntarily. They're not being paid. No one's forcing them. They're not related. They just want to be there for them. And that's really powerful for the kids.
Do you find it challenging at all to get matches and volunteers? Like it just sounds like such an amazing opportunity for someone that wants to give back to their community, but with the commitment and the need for consistency for the child as well. Is that a challenge for you, or what is?
Yeah, so it is a challenge. And I feel like because people, when they first hear it, I think it's intimidating. And they're kind of like, what would this look like? What is the commitment? That's one of the first questions we get. But when we're able to talk to them and kind of explain it more, that yes, so we do ask for a year commitment, just because, it takes time to develop a relationship, and we don't want to introduce, a positive mentor in a child's life, and then a couple months later they've dipped out. So we really ask for that year commitment. But, if it's 2 times a month for an hour or two, doing a fun activity, it's really not that big of, commitment. It's not that life-changing to your regular day-to-day life. And so a lot of people, once they hear that, they're like, oh, maybe it is, I could do this. And then once they start doing it, it just kind of naturally keeps going for most of them. But yeah, at first it definitely is intimidating. And that is our main problem, is trying to find volunteers. We always have the littles coming. We don't have to market to littles. Yeah. We don't have to try to recruit littles.
You've got the littles.
We've got the littles. Yeah, we just need the bigs.
I would think that, that the bigs, the mentors, are also seeking something as well, not just the littles. They might be seeking, companionship or someone fun to do stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I think that there's just also that feeling of like, oh, wow, I'm, like when you go to a rest home and you visit, people that are in rest homes and stuff, you feel like you're bringing something in. It's such a good feeling. And it's like, not only, I know it's a commitment, but it's got to feel really great to be able to like make a child smile and take them off to do something.
Exactly. And that's one of the main things we hear, like, and I know it's cliche, people always say this, but like when the bigs get started, they're like, I thought I was going to do something for this little, but they ended up doing more for me. And but it's so true.
I bet. I bet you it's definitely like a full circle. They're both getting, something out and changing changing each other's lives.
Exactly. And there are a multitude of reasons why people volunteer. Some, they want to make that difference. They want to change the world. They want to feel, like they matter. And some people, we have this one match, this big has been matched for 6 years now with his little, but he originally started because he was new to Boise. And he kind of felt disconnected. He didn't have a community. And he's like, well, it'd be weird for me to just go to the zoo by myself. And so he was like, looked into this program. He's like, I could have like a buddy to explore Boise with and then be making a difference. And now it's 6 years later and they're like best buds. And it's so everyone's different, reasoning is different, but it really does benefit both parties. And we've seen bigs too say, their little has pushed them out of their comfort zone. Like their confidence has increased because maybe you don't want to go down that water slide, but your little's like, let's go, please, let's go. And then, you overcome a fear yourself. So it kind of works both ways.
Yeah, benefits to both parties, it sounds like, definitely. And when I think too of the benefits of a program like this, the first thing I think of just how important it is for a child to have, they say one or more trusted adult in their life. And so I just see a huge benefit in building that relationship and the little being able to have their mentor as a trusted adult. And I also wonder if your staff provides any sort of training to the bigs, because I would just imagine that maybe some big topics come up or the littles confide in them about things. And are they provided with any training or protocol, or what is that?
Yeah, so we do have like an initial training they go through when they're first matched about youth safety, development, all those things. But we do try to provide, and I'm not sure how often it is because I'm not on this side of it. It's more program side. I think it's every quarter. We provide training for our parents and our bigs. And so it's open to those groups. We advertise it. We bring in a partner that we have to talk about a specific topic. So we've had like internet safety. We have had suicide prevention, bullying, things like that to try to, help them navigate those challenges, especially nowadays. I mean, it's everywhere. You can't avoid it. And how do you respond when it comes up with your little? And usually it's not if it comes up, it's when it comes up, because most kids are experiencing these things. And so we do provide that. We are trying to make it more robust. But yeah, we definitely try to do that. And for our staff as well. We have trainings for our staff to keep us in the know, especially our match support specialists who deal directly with the matches. Sometimes they have to deal with really hard topics and things that come up and help the family navigate things, find resources, and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Grace, saying that, because I would imagine that maybe some of them don't feel comfortable talking to their parents. We were talking about with our clinician, Savannah, with the LGBTQIA community and how, coming to parents and how parents should maybe take that in and respond. And sometimes they might feel more comfortable with a big or mentor. So it's really important for them to, but probably really hard too, never being a parent or never being a big sister or brother, of how to deal with that, how to deal with, questions of suicide ideation, all that stuff. So I think that's...
Yeah, and we actually, the Children's Home, I partnered with the Speedy Foundation to do that suicide prevention training for you guys. And I just remember thinking, like, this is such great information for this organization and this group of people to have, just because it's like another set of eyes on the child, right? Even if they have both parents in the home and a big friend group, just another person that knows them really well and can recognize those signs, I think probably has great benefits.
They have that one-on-one connection. They talk probably more than they do with their friends, their peers, and their parents, because they have that time together. That's
it really is a safe place for them. And we've heard, I think it was at Pride last year, I had someone come up to our booth and said that his big was the first person he came out to, because he had a hard home life. He was, didn't feel safe. His big felt like a safe person, and he helped him navigate that. And we hear that all the time. We have a little who recently was struggling with mental health, and she went to her big, and her big helped her get into a program that she needed to be in. an in-treatment program. And her big was the one who like initiated that. And so they really are that safe person for the little, even if, you know, I'm a parent, I have 3 kids, and I know that I want my kids to have other people to talk to.
Sure.
I know that I can have the best intentions, you know, but there's just something about telling your parents that can be really scary, or you're just hesitant for some reason. And so having that is just an extra protective factor for the kids, and just a safe landing place when they're going through life.
Oh my gosh. That is so great. I mean, that's just taking the program, I mean, bringing in the mental health aspect of it, and what the bigs can do. And again, like we talked about, what the littles can do too. I mean, it's such a great program.
Thank you.
And I love the stories. I love hearing that about Pride.
Yeah, I feel like everywhere we go, it's always like there's someone who has a connection. Either they're a big or a little, and they kind of come out of nowhere. Like, oh, my big changed my life, and you're like, I'm just like on the street. I'm like, oh, you tell me more. It's just amazing how much that person can do, even if it's a short time. Like, I've heard stories of a big only being involved in a child's life for like 1 year. So let's say the 1 year commitment. At a school program, and it changed this woman's life. Her parents were going through a divorce. She was in 5th grade. The oldest child started kind of being parentified, you know, dealing with a lot of things. And that 1 hour at lunch every week was her only like escape. She said it was the only time she felt like a child and could just share all that drama that was going on at home with someone who she could trust, who wasn't judging, who didn't have an opinion about it, who was just there. And it was only 1 year. And she said, I don't even remember my big's name. But, like, I remember how I felt, and now she's a mom of 3, and all 3 of her kids have been littles because it made such a big impact on her. And so, really, even that short time, it's just so intentional. That time is intentional, and it's focused, and there's nothing more impactful, I feel like, than making a kid feel seen and valued. It's just the most important thing.
Yeah, it stays with you. Do you have any situations where a person was a little and then they graduate the program and then come back to be a mentor? Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, so we don't see it like a ton, but it does happen. We have one mentor right now. He's been matched for like 3 years, I think. And they're just, I love their match. They are so fun. His match, his little is 16 now. I think maybe 16, but they love Dungeons and Dragons. They love playing games. They go to the game store all the time. They're just like so similar, but he was a little, his father passed away when he was around 8, I think, and fell into depression, was having a really hard time. His mom tried therapy, tried so many different things, and he just was struggling. She's like, okay, let's try this, and got him a big. And he said it changed his life. Like, he just connected with this person. He helped get him through the death of his dad. And they were matched till he graduated high school. Then he kind of did his own thing. And then he came back. Now he's in his early 30s. And so he came back when he felt like he was ready to be a big himself. And so it's totally full circle.
He found his purpose.
He did. And he is the best big. He's amazing. And him and his little, they're kind of not the norm, because they now hang out twice a week, because they're like, they just love hanging out so much. And even though they graduate the program at 18, so that's when they graduate high school, that's kind of when it officially ends, so to speak. But they're like, oh, we're in it for the long haul.
And they built a long-lasting relationship. I can't imagine with a lot of them, they've been together for, you know, it sounds like your things at 3 years is like kind of an average, that all of a sudden just say goodbye and go your own way. I'm sure like bonds and friendships that last for a lifetime, probably.
Yeah, even if it is, they aren't in the program anymore, they still have that relationship. And even if it looks different, it still lasts. Like, I heard from this lady the other day. I went to give a presentation at their work. I had no idea anyone had any affiliation, and she at the end was like, I wasn't going to say anything, but I was a big years ago. She's like, I was matched for a couple years. This girl had a really hard home life. They moved away, and we kind of lost touch. We wrote a few letters, but then we lost touch. And she's a woman now, reached out to her on Facebook, found her on Facebook and said, I don't know if you remember me. I was your little.
Wow.
And she was like, my life literally was changed because of you. You were like the only safe person I had. And I just wanted you to know. And so it's like in our program, it could say, 3 years average match length. But really the impact is a lifetime. They make their mark. And sometimes they reunite again. Like that in that case, now they're writing back and forth. And she's learning about how her life is now. And it's just cool. I mean, relationships are just, the foundation for, I don't know, everything meaningful, and so that's what it's all about.
Wow. You mentioned there when you were talking about one of the matches that he is a really good big. What makes a good big? If someone wants to get into this and is thinking about it, what makes them good?
Yeah. So I think it's just that kind of like, first of all, just like a heart for the mission, like wanting to improve a child's life, like wanting to be there and make a difference, and viewing yourself as kind of that positive role model. So kind of with intention, spending your time with that child, knowing that it might feel like in the moment when you're just walking your dog, chit-chatting, it might not feel like you're making a big difference, but you are. And so I think bigs who are able to kind of like keep that focus and remember their why, that's really crucial, because sometimes it can get hard. There are hard things. Life is hard, especially as children grow and change. And some of our kids come from difficult backgrounds and situations. So there are a lot of ups and downs. So I think remembering your why, and just having that commitment and being positive and just helping them kind of find who they are and the potential inside of them, and encouraging them to be more than they thought possible. That's kind of like the dream big.
So what do you see going forward for your organization? Like when you see a year from now, new programs, or what is your ideal situation look like as how you like to grow, or new programs that you'd like to have maybe support with?
Mm-hmm. So coming in the next year or so, I mean, our goal is always obviously to serve more kids. And so our goal this year is to serve 300 kids. We're still, let's see, I think we still have 100 to go. So we need more matches.
Is this the Treasure Valley? Sorry,
yes,
this is
Treasure
the Treasure
Valley
that you. Okay, yeah.
Yes, and so also in the next year, expanding our efforts into Canyon County. So we do serve Ada and Canyon counties. We serve a lot more in Ada County. So part of our goal and hope is to continue to expand into Canyon County and serve those kids out there, because we know there's a big need for it. And we have a lot of organizations asking for the help. We just need to be able to establish more roots out there and get the volunteers. And then, like I said, high school bigs is something we're really pushing for and working towards. And then something called Steps to Success is something we're working on. And this is a program for our older littles who are in high school, who are getting ready to graduate, kind of helping them prepare for the real world. It's a curriculum we hope to do. We're actually launching it in like a month or so. But trying to help them learn, financial literacy, how to cook on their own, live on their own, simple things, go to the grocery store, car maintenance, applying for jobs in college and kind of what that looks like. And hopefully graduating with like a plan. So not necessarily going to college. We know that's not for everyone, but having a plan in place of like what they want to do, where they want to go, being, successful, productive, citizens. So that's kind of the goal, is to get that curriculum going and set up.
That's a great program. It's scary after you graduate. It's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
we're like that one culture that's like, okay, you're 18, 19, bye.
So
See you
true.
later.
I had no
now
clue.
Start fending for yourself. And I remember getting out of college and going for my first interview, and they were saying, well, and what would you like to make here? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you need to survive on?
Exactly.
Because I felt like I was just not prepared. I did my
Same
classes, but I think that just doing stuff like you've always had your parents do your laundry and do your cooking. And I mean, even if you helped out and did chores. So what a great initiative, a great program to kind of guide them and give them some help.
We're really excited about it, especially because like a lot of programs, which is great, serve younger kids, and that's needed and excellent. Yeah. But, you know, what about the kids? You know, you don't stop needing help when you turn 18. You probably need more.
Like, yeah, I was going to say, you probably need more guidance.
Exactly.
Might be feeling pretty alone.
Yeah.
So do you have a wait list of littles right now that are waiting for a match?
Yeah, so we typically have a wait list going at all times, and part of it is that intentional matching process, but I'm not sure where we're at right now. The last I checked, we had about 15 on the waiting list, and that's for our community program. School site is another story. It's hard to define a wait list because the school's like, we can supply you a ton of littles. So it's kind of unending in the schools. It's like, they're like, here, we have all these kids. The more, like, whatever bigs you get us, we'll find a little. So the school site, it's like, it feels a little overwhelming at times because there's so many kids that could benefit. Community, we do have that about 10 to 15 right now, littles waiting. But yeah, it's always more littles.
And is that is there like a gender that's more popular than the other that you see? Like, do you have more boys on the wait list? Do you have more girls on the wait list?
Yeah, so we typically do have more boys on the wait list. Big brothers are harder to recruit. We've been, though, getting more lately, which is really cool. I feel like there's a lot of big brothers stepping up to the plate, so that is awesome. But yeah, typically little brothers wait longer. We do allow big sisters to be matched with little brothers. So that kind of helps combat that. But a lot of times the little brother's like, no, I want a big brother. And so, yeah, we tend to have more. There's just more, tends to be more big sisters that volunteer.
So with the school program, it sounds like it's initiated, like the partnership is with the school. Is that right? It's not the parents coming to you and then you see them in the school.
Correct.
It's the partnership. Okay.
Yeah. So we have partnerships with certain schools. Right now we're at 7 schools.
Wow.
And what happens is for our intentional matching process is we will recruit the bigs. They're like, yeah, I want to do school site. We will kind of do the interviews, do all the things, write up a little profile and be like to the school counselor, here are what bigs we have. Like, what kids do you have that you think would be, one, benefit from the program, want to do it, but would be potentially a good match for this person. And then so the school counselor will point out the kids. We ask their parents if they can participate in the program. If we get the go ahead, then we'll interview them and make sure they're a good fit and then match them if it's a good fit. So we still try to do that intentional matching. And we do that by like recruiting the bigs first and then the littles kind of come along. So the more bigs we get, the more variety of littles we could serve. And we also, it doesn't have to start right when the school year starts. Typically we enroll like September, October, and even like up till Christmas. Like if someone applies and they're like, I want to be a lunch buddy, I'm like, okay, it's a little late in the school year, but that's okay. Like, you know, even 9 months or, 7 months or whatever is better than nothing. And with the school site too, you can continue the next year if that same little goes to the same school. You can continue with them if it was a good match. And they can also transition to community if they've just like hit it off and they're like, we want to see each other outside of school now, and they can do that. So there's some little things they have to do to make that transition. And obviously the parent then has to be in on it and approve and be involved. But we've had that happen quite a bit, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it sounds like the schools are like a good starting point. Mm-hmm. Like if a big is like, I think I want to do this and I'm not sure about the commitment, it sounds like a good way to test it out, see if it's for you.
It is, for sure. There's a lot less pressure, and it's also fun because we really encourage like workplaces to do it. If some workplaces have volunteer hours, we've had groups of workplaces
that's
like,
a great idea.
Yeah, they go together like at their lunch, and also like meet with their littles, and it's really cool for them because they get to bond and volunteer like as a staff, and then obviously it's great for the kids, so it's kind of a win-win.
That's good to know. We have people that call from that kind of situation that, I need to get my hours in, and we have limited opportunities here, so that's good to know to be able to tell people that. So so ways that people can get involved, obviously becoming a mentor is a big thing. You need mentors, it sounds like. So if anybody is interested or ever thought about that, this is a great program to definitely reach out. We're going to have it on our website so people can easily find you. The other thing is you are a nonprofit. So you obviously, I'm sure you have fundraisers and a donation page on there to be able to, button to be able to donate. And it sounds like also in-kind donations so that your bigs can take them to do fun things. What other ways can the community help get involved or help with your needs?
Yeah. So, like you said, volunteering obviously is one as a mentor. Signing up a little if you feel like someone would be a good fit. I always just say sharing about the program to people who you think might be interested. And we have some events coming up, which for people to attend would be awesome. In September 12th, we have something called the Big Barn Bash. It's a benefit concert featuring Andrew Chappell and the Bitterroot Revival. It's going to be at a barn. We're going to have food trucks, games, raffles. It's going to be so much fun. Tickets are only $35, but it all goes to our programming and trying to get more kids matched. So just keeping an eye out for like our events. Obviously having that attendance and support means a lot. And financially, I mean, it's hard out there, and nonprofits, everyone feels it. It's hard. We are associated with, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. So sometimes I feel like people feel like we don't need it maybe as much, but the truth is we actually pay to be a part of that. We are really kind of like a franchise. Like we operate on our own and have to find every dollar.
Right. I'm glad you let people know that it is a separate.
Yes, we are totally local. All funds stay local. We only serve local. So that's kind of a misconception. But it's, we're out there trying to get volunteers, trying to get the funds, and just to, give the next generation a bright future.
I think too, I just want to go back to when you said share. I will tell everybody, if you don't have a lot of time, if you don't have a lot of money, find something you're passionate about. If you're passionate about mentorship and mental health and this, follow these nonprofits and share their information. Share it on stories, share it on your Instagram, and let people know about your events. It doesn't sound like a lot, but sharing your information, I feel the same way, helps tremendously. So other 100%. People can get involved. So if anything, I think with nonprofits, find your passion and follow them and share their information.
Yeah, exactly. And if you also, if you have any experiences, it doesn't have to be with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, but with mentorship, we'd love to hear those stories. I mean, that's what keeps us going, is the impact, what mentorship does. And so we have our info box on our website, or on socials, message me. I would love to hear your stories. That really keeps us going, like during the hard times. So
it's fun just hearing these stories that you're talking about today. So I'm sure you have so many more to share.
Yeah.
Well, we are so happy that you came by today.
Thank
so we
you.
got to learn so much more about the program. I know, like Grace was saying, that she's done some training, and that's the thing about nonprofits is working together. We're all in this together, and the community, mental health, nonprofits. We're all working together. So
yep. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
it means so much, and thank you for the work you guys do. It's so important. And I will just say, I have personal experience here with my children, and it's been amazing for them. So I appreciate you guys so much.
That means a lot to us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and all that you do as well.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to come back by again and give us some updates. So.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Mindful Mic. We hope Angela's insight left you inspired to explore the power of mentorship in your own life.
Don't forget to follow us, like, and share the podcast on your favorite platform. Every click helps us reach more listeners who care about mental health and community.
And mark your calendars for Wednesday, August 20th. We'll be back with a brand new episode featuring Amy Grace, LMFT, to explore the healing world of nature-based and animal-assisted therapy.
Until then, stay mindful, stay connected, and take good care.